Hello everyone. In this chapter, we will understand the market systems and the circular flow model. So we are going to define economic systems, and then we will focus on the market system and its characteristics. Then we will talk about the 5 fundamental questions, and then we briefly explain invisible hand. Then I will introduce you the first model, circular flow model, that explains how the economies are actually functioning. And finally, we briefly explain the market system and how the market system deals with the risk. So what is an economic system? Economic system is the set of institutionalized arrangements. So it is a system that coordinates how products and services are produced and distributed. And there are differences in the system. Why? Because some systems are more centralized. What I mean by that, centralized means there is a central authority or government controls, and government usually makes a decision on how to produce, what to produce, how much to produce. And there are systems that are decentralized. That means not the government or the central authority, but there are many buyers and sellers in the market, and their interaction in the market makes the decision what to produce, how to produce, how much to produce. So let's start with the laissez-faire capitalism, which is the extreme side of no government or minimal government system. In laissez-faire capitalism, government does not make decision on the production or how much to produce, what to produce, but government is actually needed, especially the power of government, to protect private property from theft. So the government's role is to be a police, and government also provides a legal environment for contract enforcement. So when you buy a house, the title is on you, and if somebody tries to steal, then the legal environment is going to be set up by the government so that it protects you. And in the laissez-faire capitalism, the decisions are made by the interaction of buyers and sellers. So people interact in markets to buy and sell. And another extreme system is the command system, is known as socialism or communism. In this system, the decision maker is centralized. That means there is a central authority like oligarchs or government, and government makes the decision, and government owns the resources. And because government owns the resources, government makes a decision on how much to produce, what to produce, how to produce. And also government makes a decision how many workers to hire, and so on. And there are examples in the world like North Korea, Cuba, and Myanmar. The market system is a mix of decentralized decision making with some government control. So it has the aspects of laissez-faire and it has the aspects of socialism. It's a mix of it. And the degree of market system depends on how much the centralized part dominates in the decision making. And the market system found in much of the world. And in the market system, private markets are the dominant force. That means government does not own the resources. Private ownership of resources is dominant. And in the market, there is self-interested behavior. So what do we mean by self-interested behavior? In the self-interested behavior, firms try to maximize their profit. That's their self-interest. Consumers try to maximize their utility, maybe looking for the cheapest possible price. That's the self-interest part. So therefore, self-interested behavior leads to people into allocation of resources, which usually ends up being efficient. So let's talk about the characteristics of the private market. First of all, private property is important. Why? Because when you own a property, nobody is going to steal from you. Or let's say you own a business, you spend money to develop that business idea. And when it becomes profitable, government is not going to take the business away from you. So you have the right to own the property. And the second one is freedom of enterprise and choice. Freedom of enterprise means that entrepreneurs and businesses have the freedom to obtain and use resources, to produce products of their choice and sell these products in the markets of their preferences. And freedom of choice means that owners of property and money resources can use resources as they choose. Workers can choose the training, occupations and job of their choice, consumers are free to spend their income in such a way as to best satisfy their wants. So self-interest, I'm repeating here, is one of the driving forces in a market system. Entrepreneurs try to maximize profits or minimize losses. Resource suppliers try to maximize income. Consumers maximize satisfaction. As each tries to maximize profits, income, and satisfaction, the economy will benefit if competition is present. So competition requires two or more independently acting buyers and sellers. Markets and prices is the characteristics that reflects the decisions made on each side of the market and determines the set of product and resource prices that guide owners, entrepreneurs, and consumers as they all make choices based on their self-interest. And in the market system, we use money, and specialization is the key in the market system, and the government is active but limited. So let's look at this figure, and this is the index of economic freedom for selected economies 2021. So the economic freedom index is determined by 10 different indicators, but some of them are, for instance, the involvement of government, the trade, and so on. And when you look at this picture, you'll realize that the economically free ones like Singapore, New Zealand, Australia, one of the richest countries in the world, whereas the repressed ones like Iran, Venezuela, and North Korea are, in terms of income, one of the lowest income countries. So in the market system, advanced technology and capital goods are encouraged. And here, the key term is specialization. So why technology and capital goods are encouraged? Because market system rewards individuals and businesses for development of new technologies. Thereby, market system encourages their development and implementation. And specialization allows economies to take better advantage of their resources and their capabilities. And because of specialization, which I give the example in the previous lecture video, that you go to college to be an accountant. The reason is because you want to earn money with the income. Instead of producing everything you need to survive, you are exchanging goods and services with the income you earn. So there is the division of labor, or we call it human specialization, increases productivity by making use of differences in abilities. So you might have ability to be an accountant, let's say you are good at numbers, and also you produce more because become proficient in your job by learning by doing, and that saves time too. Geographic specialization can be regional or it can be international. So some regions could have advantage in producing some type of crops like Florida oranges, Georgia peaches, or Nebraska wheat, and so on. And therefore, with that advantage, they can produce more in that specialized commodity and they can trade with other regions. So money makes trade easier. It's a medium of exchange. And before the money, people were actually exchanging goods and services by barter. But barter requires double coincidence of ones. Why? For instance, just think about that. You are a baker, you make breads, and you want to buy a fish. So in order to buy fish, you need to find someone that is actually willing to buy bread. So it requires double coincidence of ones. But double coincidence of ones doesn't happen all the time. Therefore, money makes everything much easier. So let's see this example. Here we have 3 states, Nebraska, Florida, and Idaho. Nebraska has a surplus of wheat and 1 potatoes. Florida has a surplus of orange but 1 wheat. And Idaho has a surplus of potatoes and 1 oranges. So as you see in this figure, Nebraska wants potatoes but Idaho doesn't want wheat. So they cannot do the barter system. The reason is because there's no double coincidence of ones. But if we introduce the money, what happens is that Nebraska is going to purchase the potatoes with money, and then with the money Idaho earns, it can buy oranges from Florida. So in the market system, we have an active but limited government. Government may be needed to alleviate market failures. So what do we mean by market failures? For instance, a company produces electricity but dumps lots of poisonous gas to the atmosphere. So this is called pollution, right? And this is the market system because the company wants to minimize the cost, maybe just looking for the cheap technologies or cheap ways of producing electricity, but this may have a problem, which we call it externality, harming the nature. So if we don't have government, this is not optimal way of allocating resources. In that case, we might need government to set the rules. And also government can increase effectiveness of a market system. Just think of a case that in an industry there is only one company supplying the goods and service. So this creates a monopoly, but this is not beneficial for the economy. Why? Because when there is monopoly and less competition, the amount of quantities produced in the market goes down and prices are higher. Therefore, government can increase the effectiveness by actually interfering the market system. There could be government failure. That means governments are elected and their goal is first to be re-elected, not maximizing the society's benefit. And therefore, there might be possible government failure in that scenario. So now we will talk about the 5 fundamental questions that we try to answer with using the market system. The first one is what goods and services will be produced. Second one is how will the goods and services be produced. Third one is who will get the goods and services. Fourth one is how will the system accommodate change. And the fifth one is how will the system promote technological progress. So let's start with the first question. What will be produced? First of all, in the market system, goods and services that create a profit are going to be produced. So what happens here is that customer has sovereignty and we have the dollar votes. So that means if consumers want to buy, then they are going to show this by their willingness to purchase. Therefore, there's a dollar votes. And if market economy sees that there is a demand, production is going to follow the demand. So dollar votes allow consumers to indicate which goods and services should be produced, and also dollar votes determine which products and industries survive or fail. And the next question is, how will the goods be produced? Here the idea is, okay, the firms want to maximize profit, right? In order to maximize profit, they will focus on minimizing the costs. And they're trying to find the most efficient techniques. So the market system is actually promoting the improvement or advancement of technology. Therefore, with a better technology, the production is going to be faster and a cheaper way. And also, the companies are going to find way to find lower prices for the necessary resources they use for production. So here is the question of how to produce. And in this table, we can see 3 different techniques, and they use a different combination of resources, labor, land, capital, entrepreneurial ability. And let's say bar of soap is $15. So here, as you see, technique 2 is gonna be chosen because it is least costly way of producing bar soap. And therefore, this will create a $2 of economic profit. So who is going to get the output? As you know, the market system is based on dollar votes. Therefore, consumers with the ability and willingness to pay will get the product, and ability to pay depends on income. And how will the system accommodate change? First of all, when the consumer's taste changes, so let's say one product is popular, but then next product becomes popular. As you see, the production from one product to another is going to change. And also changes in technology will lead to the system change. Why? Because just think about it, in the past, the farming is just done by bare hands, but now there are, because of the advanced technology, farming is done by totally capital, physical capital. So therefore, changes in technology is going to lead a change in the system. And the changes in resource prices or availability also lead to a change in the system. So how will the system progress? The market system promotes technological improvements and capital accumulation. An entrepreneur or firm that introduces a popular new product will be rewarded with increased revenue and profits. New technologies that reduce production costs, thus product price, will spread rapidly throughout the industry because of the competition. And creative destruction is going to happen. So what is creative destruction? When new products and production methods emerge, they will destroy the market positions of firms that are not able or willing to adjust. So the market system leads to even greater capital accumulation as it provides the resources necessary to produce more capital goods through the increased dollar votes. The entrepreneurs and business owners are able to purchase more capital goods as they become more and more profitable. And let's talk about the invisible hand. Adam Smith is often referred to as the father of economics, and his famous book is Wealth of Nations. It's published in 1776. His emphasis on the role of self-interest in motivating economic activity is especially important. Self-interested behavior of both the business and suppliers of resources results in the greatest amount of economic efficiency possible. The market system guides resources into the production of goods and services most desired by society. So therefore, it enforces use of the most efficient production techniques while encouraging new production techniques. So the market system encourages skill acquisition and hard work, because you will be rewarded for your efforts. Entrepreneurs and workers are free to make choices based on their self-interest. So therefore, the virtues of the market system is efficiency, incentive, and freedom. And how about the command system? Command system failed to deliver adequate amounts of goods and services. And we see that we have command system in Soviet Union, North Korea, and preformed China. So failures along the supply chain were common because one factory's output was another factory's input. And command system fails in that supply chain model. And a failure at any step along the way would cause a chain reaction. This became more difficult as the economies grow in the command system. There were no indicators of success like in a market system where we have profit or loss to indicate how successful the business firm is. Why? Because in the command system, it's not the profit. The central authority doesn't have the goal to make profit. And there were no price signals to indicate more or less of a product was desired, resulting in surpluses or shortages. So next, I want to introduce you a simple model that will show how this economic system works. In this model, we have households. Households actually buys and goods and services in the goods market, and they are seller. They sell their service in the factors of production market. Businesses are sellers in the goods market. They sell and make profit, and they are buyers of labor services in the markets for factors of production. So we have two markets: product market, where goods and services are exchanged, and resource market, where labor services are exchanged. And it shows the real flow and the money flow. Let's go see how it works. So here we have the households. As you see, they sell resources, labor services, and they sell resources. And you can see that they sell resources in the resource market: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurial ability. And in return, they receive income. It could be wages, rents, interest, profits. And with that income, they consume, right? Where in goods and service market, as you see, the red one shows the exchange of resources and goods and services, the real stuff. And the blue one shows the exchange of money. And next, I want to briefly explain how the market system deals with risk. In a market system, businesses all face risks. Profitability of the firm will depend on how well risk is managed. Profits flow to the owners as their reward for bearing the risk of losses. On the other hand, employees and suppliers to the firm do not face any risk because they just get paid regardless of how well the firm is doing. So risk is diversified actually. And the market system will experience better economic outcomes over time since owners bear responsibility for their own management decisions. Compare this to the command and control system where no one bears any responsibility for bad management or loses any money if they make bad decisions. They receive the same salary. So that's the difference between market system and command system. I hope this helps you understand the difference between market system and command system. Thank you for watching this video.